What up, what up, what up? What's happening, y'all? Let me make sure that we got good audio. All right, we good. What's happening, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the CM Show. Who am I? Well, hell, I'm CM, Christopher Markland. That is me. Yo, man, it's been a hell of a week. We had a great show last week, and tonight I anticipate we're going to have another good one. Let me get this shit the hell up out of the way. Now, who am I? I'm a podcaster, I am a relationship fan, and I am an author. Meaning, I have written 2 books. I haven't really been talking about them as much as I should have lately, but I had somebody fuss at me, be like, Chris, you wrote 2 pretty good books. You might want to let people know about them. So, I've written 2 books, 3 books so far, but 2 have been published. The third one is on the way. Book number 1 is Desperately Seeking Exclusivity. Book number 2 is Desperately Seeking Pleasure. And book number 3 is Desperately Seeking Clarity. Okay. That's interesting. All right, I'm learning to do something as we go. Every week, y'all, just like everything else in life, you strive to get better. So, got a good friend of mine. She was talking to me today about some stuff I need to do. You need to do this, do that. And I was just taking notes, getting damn carpal tunnel. She was telling you boys some really, really good stuff. So, tonight's candle. Yeah, I think I trimmed the wick enough, because last week, y'all remember we had that damn bonfire on my damn desk. Let's talk about tonight's candle. See one spam, do that. All right. As y'all know, my sponsor, The Black Candle Box. You go to their website at theblackcandlebox.com. Use the promo codes TheCM Show, and you will get a discount of, what she say was 25%. Anyway, so tonight's candle, I almost started to say flavor of the evening. Hold on, let's do that. Turn that off. Do that. All right. Oh, shit. So tonight's candle is coconut mango. Since you know what, we about to hit that damn travel season. So I wanted to get something a little bit more festive, a little bit more summery. So tonight's candle is coconut mango. Again, you can get that from the Black Candle Box. Y'all, tonight we're going to be talking about, as I just told y'all, we're going to be talking about Gemini season. Interesting. Okay. We're going to be talking about Gemini season. And with that, y'all, but you know what? Before we get into it, as y'all know, this is an adult show. That means we're going to be talking about some adult stuff. Now, one of the things that I do not do, I do want y'all to give a couple disclaimers, y'all. First and foremost, even though this is an adult show, we're going to be talking about adult stuff. We're going to be talking about adult stuff. But one thing I do want to say this, right? I do not give relationship advice, okay? I'm not no relationship guru, because Lord knows I've had way too much practice at relationships and marriages and all that good stuff. But one of the things I can tell you, and one of the things, I don't give you advice, we just have conversations, and I will tell you some of the things that I've done, the mistakes that I've made, and that's part of us having these conversations, because Lord knows y'all have made some mistakes too. So it doesn't matter where you're calling in from. If you're able to say, hey, Chris, I did this, or I'm telling y'all, hey, I did that, or I didn't do this, and it's able to help all of us better in our relationships, that's what these conversations are about. So I hope nobody's tuning in and be like, man, I hope Chris tells me or gives me some good advice for what to do with my relationship. Yeah, man. Yeah. Now, I will give you, if you ask a question, I will give you my opinion. And if I do give advice like that, cool. But this is not that kind of show. We're here to have conversations and, talking about relationships so that we all can make our relationships better, or we can realize, you know what? Yeah, this relationship ain't hitting on shit. Let me get the hell on. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right. Also, God, I see what I was doing. Okay. I got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. I see exactly what's going on. So one of the things that I do want y'all to do before we get into it, and I need to. In fact, before we do that, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna put y'all. Hold on. Hey, sorry for that brief intermission. Had to make sure that our guest for the night was lined up, ready to go. Hey, Pierre, you there? All right, I am going to bring you on. Tonight, y'all, we are going to be, but you know what? Before we do that, I want to make sure that, y'all, if you haven't already done so, I have a goal. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 750 followers on Facebook. So if you haven't already done so, please take a quick second, hit the subscribe button, definitely hit the like button. If you don't like my ass, you can hit the dislike button. Just hit something. Let me know that you care enough to hit the button. And if you're on Facebook, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, if you're not a follower, hey, hit the like button as well. We are going to be doing this each and every week. So I just want to make sure that, I ain't gonna lie, I just want to hit my goals. So, like I said, if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button. So, Pure, are you there? All right, I am going to be bringing you on because tonight's conversation is Gemini season, and you are the resident expert. Welcome back, ma'am. I hate that we missed you last week, and it looks like you are on the go. I love it. Let's make sure. All right. There we go. So tonight, like we said, tonight's conversation is about Gemini season. And of course, with you being the in fact, you know what? Before you do that, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the audience for those of them that didn't see you before.
Okay, cool. Well, my name is Peace. My name is Pure Bliss, and I consider myself the holistic Juanita. I focus on modalities of assisting my community through healing spiritually. Do yoga, meditation, tantra. I do modeling. I'm a chef. I have a lot of different hats.
You are more Jamaican than I am.
I've had Jamaican friends tell me that before.
That's what I'm talking about.
But hey, my biggest focus in what I do is just really connecting to all the different types of people out there, because I think the biggest disservice that modern medicine does for us is they give us a one thing fits all for everyone, and that's not the case. The way somebody may be a kinetic, what is it, kinetic, aesthetic,
yeah.
What's that word? Break it down. You know what I'm trying to say?
I think I do. Trust me, it's a Tuesday, day after Monday, so we're on the same
page. You know
page.
What I'm saying? Jim Mercury's retrograde, but you know what I'm trying to say? Some you may learn by feeling, and some people may learn
kinetic.
By feeling.
Okay, got you.
There we go. Kinetic. Okay. So you may be that type of learner, and so in that sense, you may also be that type of that might be the type of healing that you need. You may need electromagnetic therapy. You may need to move your body in certain forms, or you may need to write it out. So I just try to be well versed and available. When people come to me, to be able to connect to them on the way that they need to be connected to. So
Okay.
yeah.
And speaking of being able to connect with you, you can visit her website at a shop called tribe.us. It's a shop called tribe.us. So if you ever want to get in touch with her and all of the many things that she does between her poetry, her modeling, her her yoga classes, what all of the many things that she does, y'all, hit her up. Like, and as you see, the key word in that is tribe, because we're all here together. So I definitely appreciate everything that she's doing. So, with that being said, a
I
little bit
get
like
you
we're
doing
talking about Gemini's tonight. Can you give us a little bit about, tell us, like, say the good, the bad, just what it is about Gemini's, their energy. What is it like to be in a relationship with a Gemini? What are the things, if you thinking about it, that the person that you may be interested in is like a Gemini, like, hey, you know what? Let me be careful of this.
right. So I have a sweet, salty relationship with Gemini. One sweet because one of my oldest best friends is a Gemini, and we get along amazingly.
Okay.
However, the key to us getting along is spend a lot of time together. We may see each other, you know, 2 to 3 times out of the year. Text randomly to check in on each other, and we go about our business. Geminis need lots and lots of space to be whoever they want to be, but also in that, that's from a friend perspective. Now, from a dating perspective, Geminis need a lot of attention. They need a lot of energy, and they also could flip on you at the drop of a hat. That's why everybody
Yeah, that's
hates
that
Gemini.
two face.
You know what I'm saying? Two-faced it, two-faced
Yes.
it. And I used to be like, and I'm sorry to switch back and forth. I'm driving. So I used to be like one of those people that would be like, oh, y'all be giving Geminis a bad rep, and Geminis really ain't that bad until I dated one.
Mm.
And what I realized is you really have to be aware that when you're dating a Gemini, you are literally dating multiple people. Okay, so if you're one of those people who, not for the poly, ethically non-monogamous life, but you want a little spice, date you a Gemini. That's like 12 people right there. That's all you need in life. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So,
thank you. One's enough.
but you know what I'm saying? If that's too much for you, I'm personally a person that's a little too much for me. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be. If this is what you say, I need it to be what it is. I
Hmm.
don't need you to be like a totally different. I'm not gonna bash Geminis. I said I wasn't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Go
What
right
I'm
ahead,
gonna say
please. I'm here
is
for it.
Geminis are
I
very.
am here
I
for
know you are because we not on your side no more. But um,
it.
Geminis, the thing is they spend a lot of time communicating with themselves, right? And
Mm.
so that's the challenging thing about having a disagreement with a Gemini. Because let's be real, relationships you don't have disagreements. So I like to talk about how communicating goes. Um, the challenge is that you lost the disagreement before you even opened your mouth, right? Because they've already thought about all the things you're gonna say. They kind of have that
Mm.
Libra tendency as well. They already thought about all the things they're gonna say, how they're gonna respond to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing you can say. They've already convinced themselves. You're basically just wasting your time trying to validate whatever point you have because they've already proven whatever they thought. So
Right. So you're saying that a
that's
Gemini
just Gemini.
actually has thought about everything from the front to back to all of that before you've even had a chance
Yeah,
to think it through.
they already know why you did it. Your intentions behind it, how you wanted them to feel about you doing it, because of course you did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And unless you get a person that's a healed Gemini, which I haven't, all the way met yet, to be honest. But if you
Mm-hmm.
get a healed Gemini, if you're in a relationship with a healed Gemini, somebody who can realize that they're going into their drama, that character, that hurt person, whoever that person is, if they can catch themselves and shift it, then you might be in there. But if not, that is something you're gonna have to be aware of. That they do, and when they attack viciously. Because they are wordsmiths. Okay, so that little, Achilles tendon that you have in your emotions, they're gonna get up in there, okay? And then
Mm.
look at you like, I don't know why you're upset. I mean, it was
You know
right
what,
here.
man? You know what? I consider myself to be kind of, sort of, a little bit smart, but there is
Mhm.
nothing worse than you getting into a battle of wits with a wordsmith, because you be
Right,
sliced and diced. And it's like, God damn, you weren't
right.
expecting all that. Yeah, I
Right.
love it. Now, let me ask you this though, because I mean,
Hmm.
I know that all of the signs fall into certain spectrums, and you and I we were having just talking earlier, and you were telling me like about what's going on within the as far as the retrograde and all that. That's not my cup of tea.
Right.
Feel me, help me and my audience understand that a little bit.
Okay, cool. So this is also a sweet side for me for Gemini. So I'm actually a Gemini rising. As all the shit I'm talking about Geminis, I'm actually, aspiring this lifetime to become like them. So that's
Mhm.
interesting.
There's
But
nothing like self accountability when you know
you know,
yourself. Yeah.
so this Mercury retrograde, which everybody really hates, but Mercury be doing some things out here. This Mercury retrograde is in Gemini, so that means it's in Gemini and Gemini season. Okay, so these Geminis is hype. Okay, they're not normal Gemini season. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm just letting y'all know. Be warned. Um, but also the beautiful thing that I think people overlook when it comes to retrogrades is that it's an introspective time, as above, so below, right? So when these planets go inside, or go outside of the cast of the sun, really, that's what a retrograde is. It is a reflection of whatever that planet is. So Mercury retrograde is a reflection on how you communicate, how you exhibit, how you put your energy out on the world, um, especially because over these last few years, the planets have really been moving to shift us to really focus in on ourselves, really like put that mirror up and like see all the ugly parts of who we are, you
Right.
know? And
Kind of like
so
an, an,
this is
an
like
introspective period almost.
absolutely
Hmm. Okay.
it was absolutely divine that we went into a super introspective point in astrology and then corona happened like that. Come on, but we did a lot of like self-evaluation and self-work, and so now we're getting into those outer degrees of the planets where it's really about like how we are engaging. Now we have to check ourselves and how we engage in the world. So a lot of our um traumas and scars about tribe, about community, about friends, about relationships, all that's coming up, right?
Hmm.
And so the beautiful thing about retrogrades, I always say you have three choices, right? You have the option to look in the mirror, see the ugly scars, and actively make change for it because the planets are set up for you to shift into change.
Okay.
Or you can pretend that you don't see it, right? Which you can take the sleeping pill, right? Or you can make it worse. And a lot of people tend to make it worse.
Hmm.
The sometimes the ego can get so big when it's triggered in these spaces that instead of you catching yourself, you actually make a typhoon with your emotions, with your words, your words, especially right now. Be really cautious about the way you communicate with those that you love, as your triggers are coming up, because
Whoa.
we have to remember that triggers are hit so that we can heal from them. But you got to feel it first. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But the biggest thing that we have to do is make sure that we don't make other people responsible for those triggers, for hitting them, because that was their jobs. That's why they were there. So now it's your self worth,
Right. Right.
and that's the difference between projecting and self awareness and self evaluation. So that's the beautiful thing about retrograde. And like I said, every planet represents a different thing. And if that's
Hmm.
something you're interested y'all can definitely always if you are able to book an astrology reading with me right through the shop page. I know I can't tell you how much they are because I don't remember, but they're on there. So I would retrogrades mean because being born with certain planets in retrograde does carry a certain energy. So you walking around because the common person thinks that retrogrades are bad, and you could actually be winning if you were born in a Mercury retrograde. There are actually a lot of benefits to this time for you. So,
Hmm.
you know, know your energies,
Know your
and that's
energy.
that's my
Hold on one
soapbox.
second. Hold on one second. Let me do this real quick. Know your energy. That is some truly powerful stuff. Audio. Know your energy. You know what? I definitely appreciate that. And y'all, I put the link up and also the graphic up so you guys can see it. It's a shop called tribe.us. So if you do want to dig in a little bit more to, if your sign's not, if you're not necessarily a Gemini, or if you weren't blessed enough to be an Aries, you can still reach out and You know what? I don't appreciate you laughing every time I say that, because what you ain't gonna do is.
I'm sorry. You're
No.
right. You're right. Continue.
But yeah, definitely reach out and talk to Pure Bliss. That's our guest. Every time that we have this series where we talk about the different zodiac signs. Right now it is Gemini season, so God help us all. And then next week is Cancer season. But each and every time we get into a new season, we're gonna have these conversations, because just like I said, what I do with this show, y'all, is we talk about love, relationships, but not only that, but life in general. And it's like Pure was saying here. There are times where you have to be introspective, because in order for you to be better in your relationship, you got to be better within yourself. That's why I'm always
Absolutely.
talking about therapy. I'm always talking about any type of meditation or healing. Whatever you need to do to be a better person will then help you be a better person within a relationship. And however you get it, be it through a therapist or be it through an astrologist, whatever it takes, y'all get that help. So I really want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're about to get into it. If you can, follow us in the chat if you want to jump in as well. And you and I, we're going to be doing some other stuff in the future as well. Let me put it up.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Let me put it up one more time. It is a shop called tribe.us. And on there, you'll be able to get her contact information. And y'all, I don't have her information as far as her Facebook pages and whatnot, but not Facebook, excuse me, Instagram and all the things that Pure says she, told you that she does. But I will be dropping that as soon as possible. And we're definitely going to have it up and ready for the next chapter in the Zodiac season. Anything else
Okay,
you want to leave
dope.
them with?
I hope y'all have a beautiful retrograde. I hope you really take the time to face yourself and get these gems.
No doubt, man. You know what? Thank you. Because man, when you said that earlier, that's something I was kind of thinking about, just working on within myself, communication, and just hearing you say those things really put a lot of things into it just put a lot of things into perspective. So again, thank you for joining us, and we're definitely going to see you next month when we go into Cancer season.
Cancer season. Oh, I have so much to say about cancers, but yes, I look forward to it, and I'll talk to you soon.
No doubt. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Peace.
Y'all, again, Pure Bliss, appreciate her joining us. So we are going to tonight, just based on what she was saying, y'all, I made a couple notes, but before I even do that, you know what? Let me show some love to everybody that is in the chat room. And tonight also, I got the Facebook going as well. So we should be live on Facebook. I'm gonna start, like I said, I'm doing a few new things. So there may be some times where I may bump my head along the way, but damn it, we are going to be doing it. So let's see what we got. If I can close that up. Let's see who's here tonight. G Dubs, what it do? Thank you for joining the conversation, ma'am. I appreciate y'all so much for joining it. Melanie Marie, what's happening? Thank you for joining. Who else we got? Michelle, thank you. We got two Michelles. Okay, thank you. DJ, what up? What's happening? Who else? Hey, Cheryl, what's going on, ma'am? Thank you for joining the conversation. So, y'all heard what Pure had to say about... Oh, let me do that. And I'm going to do a clickety-click. If I can find the damn thing. Here we go. All right. Okay, so y'all heard what Pure had to say. Y'all, you know something? This is really fun to me. And I know I say it every show. And y'all, a couple of y'all saw the epiphany that I had last week, and I realized, oh shit, Chris, your books are your journal. Anyway, but what I do love as well is running this show. I mean, it's fun. Not only is this show therapy, y'all, but it is really and truly fun. I enjoy it. It's like, yo, it's invigorating, it's challenging, and I really do love it. So, like I said, y'all, let's get into it. Where were you when I needed you for Aries? Read me. Okay. No doubt, right? As a fellow Aries, I feel you. So, like I said, y'all, today is with the conversation being about Gemini season, let's find out about Geminis. Let's just talk in general about the zodiacs as they were to begin with. Now, here we go. So we do know that, the Geminis are air signs. Okay. So with that, with that little bit of information, now that can kind of sort of help us to understand why, some of the things that Pure was saying occur when it comes to those to Geminis, because if you are an air sign, then you tend to be more of the masculine side, right? As opposed to earth and water signs, which are more on the feminine side. So whereas the air signs are, the yang, of course, the opposite is going to be the yin. The air signs, just like us fire signs, are more on the active side, whereas the flip side, of course, is on the passive side. Air signs are more projective as opposed to receptive. There's an extroversion as opposed to an introversion. There's an animus as opposed to an anima, meaning they give more than they receive. It's I always get confused with it. Centrifugal force versus centripetal, and of course they offer a sense of levity, whereas earth and water signs offer a sense of gravity. So with that being said, it's one of those, me being a fire sign myself, it probably stands to reason why I have not had good haven't had a good track record when it comes to relationships with, and I should say intimate relationships. I had a few friendships with shout out to my man Leon. Me and my boy are going all the way back to our days in the Army. Real good friend of mine. But as far as being in an intimate relationship, I've never. There are two or three women that I can think of two women I can think of that were Geminis. It was not a good fit at all. So let's talk about the traits of a Gemini. All right. So the positive, what I like to do whenever people say, hey, do you want to hear the bad news, the good news, or the bad news? I always start with the bad news. That way, the good news will cheer me up. So let's talk about the negative qualities of a Gemini. All right. They're conflicting, tentative, indecisive, persuasive, anxious, impulsive, uneasy, dishonest, and fidgety. Y'all, there's just something, and even as I look at myself on the camera, I know that I'm always moving. Is there a difference between being fidgety and nervous energy? Y'all let me know. Fidgety versus nervous energy, because I know I got plenty of energy because I'm just so amped up as I'm doing this, and there's a whole lot of things that I'm doing behind the scenes, but I never liked the fidgety, shifty ass person. There's just I don't know, you just can't trust them. But anyway, let's talk about the positive qualities of the Gemini. All right, they're bright, admired, adaptable, youthful, rational thinkers, fashionable, flexible, amusing, well-informed, chatty, quick, lively, flexible, and they are content. Speaking of flexible, y'all, let me say this right now. We're going to be a little bit flexible for our show on June 9th. Y'all know normally, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but y'all know that normally the CM show, it falls on a Tuesday. However, for the show, that's going to be on 6/9, which is actually a Thursday. Just let y'all know. I'm going to drop that probably next week's show, but just to give y'all a heads up on that. So let's go back to our Geminis. Some of the traits of a Gemini. The strengths: they are gentle, affectionate, curious, adaptable. They have the ability to learn quickly and exchange ideas. Their weaknesses are they're nervous, which goes back to that fidgety from the previous screen. They're inconsistent and indecisive. One of my pet peeves, and I'm going to do a show on pet peeves. Oh, yes. One of my pet peeves is an inconsistent person. Y'all, especially when you get over 30, there's no reason for you to be inconsistent. You are who you are, and the odds of you changing are slim to none. Yes, you can improve, you can learn, you can get better, but to be inconsistent, got a real problem with that. Inconsistent people get on my damn nerves. I cannot stand an inconsistent person. If you say you're going to do something, god damn it, do it. You know what I'm saying? If you can't do it, just say so. But don't say you're gonna do something and then don't do it. Or if you start doing something, oh my God, man, can't stand inconsistent people. Anyway, let's go back. The Gemini, they like music, books. Did I mention I'm an author? Anyway, books, magazines, chats with nearly anyone, short trips around the town. They dislike being alone, being confined, repetitive, and routine. That it probably explains why Geminis are inconsistent, right? Negatives. Oh, okay. Let me see what you're talking about over here in the chat. Hold on. Come on, computer. But tell you what, man, technology will wear your ass out. Anyway, let's do that. So, yes, Cheryl, two different personalities. Know thyself. Welcome. Thank you for joining the conversation. You're right. Negatives can always be viewed as challenges, and we can overcome those. Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, a negative is a negative, right? It all depends. If you, how can I? Let me. I like that, and I like that, Cheryl. But if you're in relationship with somebody, right? And that person is a Gemini. So you're in a relationship with a Gemini and you know the negative traits that a Gemini does have. It's hard to view it as a challenge. And if that is their negative trait, if you know that is just something that's absolutely negative about them, it's hard, for you to say, okay, I'll overlook it. For instance, if they're inconsistent and you're counting on them to do something, and they say they're going to do something and they don't, it's hard for you to view that as a challenge. Yes, you can work with them. Yes, you can try to be as, amenable. You can give them grace. You can do all of the things that you possibly can. But at the end of the day, that negative is still going to be there. So either you're going to suck it up and drive on, or you're just going to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go get me an Aries, because you can never go wrong with an Aries. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you, but man, the negative is a negative for a reason. Lorenzo, what's happening, brother? What's going on, man? Thank you for joining the conversation. You know what? I tell you what, here's what I'm gonna do, because Cheryl says she disagrees, and I am here for the conversation. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna drop the link to the Zoom. So I just dropped the link for the Zoom chat. Y'all, Cheryl, if you don't agree with me, hey, jump on in. If you do agree with me, jump on in, especially if you agree with me. I like people that agree with me, because I do not like people who disagree. Let me stop. Let's see. Definitely, y'all. The link is there. If you want to join the conversation and where you and I can talk directly, by all means, I'm here for it. But before you do that, please make sure that your audio is connected. And if you don't want to be seen on camera, just let me know and I'll make sure that your face isn't seen. If you don't mind and you say, you know what, I want the whole world to see me, then definitely. Lorenzo, my man, he says, if you believe in the signs and you are aware of the traits before you get involved, handle it or stay away. Thank you for bringing that up. That's one of the reasons why I'm having I have these conversations about the different zodiac signs each season. If you are aware of what it is that you're getting into, then you can walk in with your eyes wide open. And I think that a lot of times, in relationship, we tend to get enamored by the things that make us feel good, because they're able to tickle our parts and make them tingle. And next thing you know, you're head over heels, and maybe head over other body parts. And next thing you know, you're in a relationship where it may not be the best situation for you to be, right? So that's why I want us to not just talk about, the things that I think everybody else talks about. It's like, okay, he makes this much money, or she got this much, booty meat, whatever. No, I hear those conversations all the time, and I want us to talk about different things when it comes to relationships and making relationships work. right? And one of those things is just, little things like their zodiac sign. Whether you believe in astrology 100%, whether you think that, man, I don't believe in that, where people be talking about Mercury, Gatorade and all this, whichever side of the spectrum you find yourself on, at the very least, if you walk into a situation with some knowledge, then you can say that, hey, okay, I knew what I was getting into. But if you just walk in based on how they made your body feel, then yeah, you in for a rude awakening when the tingling stops. So I want us to really, have these conversations, be it about zodiac signs, or next week when we talk about, what is the topic for next week? What are we going to be? Anyway, when all of those things, definitely. Oh, it's Mercury Rachel. What did I say? Mercury Gatorade. My bad. So yeah, definitely. I really want us to know exactly what we're getting into in these conversations or in these relationships. Cheryl said you can choose to walk away from that challenge, and that, my dear, is the key. Yes, when you can walk away knowing that you walked in with your eyes wide open, you knew what you were getting into, and then you said, you know what, I gave it my all. I knew that as a Gemini, let's go back to some of their traits. I knew that this person, part of their personality, some of the traits that they had were they were inconsistent. I knew that they were indecisive, meaning you're the kind of person that's like, yo, what are we having for dinner? You don't want to be like, you decide, or whatever you like. No, you want a person like, what do you want for dinner? I want steak. And if you know that, I want chicken, you don't want somebody that's indecisive. You ask the question because you yourself don't know. It's like, okay, what do I want to eat? I want chicken. What do you think? Let me slow down a little bit. You don't know what it is exactly you want. You know you're hungry. So you ask your partner saying, hey, what do you want to eat? You don't want an indecisive person, because now you have two people who don't know what they want, and guess what? Y'all are both hungry. So if you know that you're getting into a relationship with a person who has the propensity to be indecisive, when you do choose to walk away, like Cheryl says right here, walk away from that challenge. That's not good. Just got a message that the link won't open. That's not good. Let me try this again. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, I'm going to end that. Close that. Had a few people just hit me up and say, yo, Chris, that bootleg link you just didn't work. So give me a second, y'all. My bad, chat. Oh, here he goes. All right. It should be working. All right. I just reset it. So let me drop that link one more again. All right. Let me test this. Yes. Check one. All right. That works. I can hear my voice. Join with computer audio. I am now connected. So y'all make sure that your audio is connected. Like I said, if you don't want to be seen, just let me know. I can hear you in my ear and we can have it. All right, let me drop this link one more again. Mercury retrograde. Y'all, you know that for the longest I heard people talking about that, and I did not know what the hell it was they were talking about. All right, I just put the link back up, so let me know if you all have any problems getting on with that. But for the longest, I did not know what Mercury retrograde was. And, I've always been, I was about to say I've always been an Aries. Yeah, pretty much, right? But, I've always known the traits of my sign, right? And but as I obviously got older, got more educated, and started learning that, oh shit, there's a whole lot more to it than just your sign. There's a lot of things in how we move, because I'm sure y'all have maybe had that feeling where it's like, yo, why does it feel like this? You walk somewhere, it's just you feel that weight on your spirit, and it's like, it wasn't until I got older that I actually understood that. And all of the things that affect our spirit, that affect how we move. It's always fascinated me. Okay, let me see. Were y'all able, is that link working now? That's weird. It was working just fine. Huh. It's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure what the hell's going on over there, but if it works, it'll pop back up. We'll be okay. Mercury is currently in retrograde until June 3rd. Okay. Know thyself. I appreciate you giving us this information because check and I'm gonna ask you a few questions. How do you know these dates? Let me put that up so everybody can see it. Mercury is currently in retrograde until June 3rd. How do you know? What is it? I mean, obviously, I guess, being an astrologer and keeping up with that stuff, that's part of it, just part of the knowledge. But what is it that dictates those particular aspects of the zodiac? What is it about it? What is it, as far as June 3rd? What changes on June 3rd? As I'm looking at my calendar. Hold on. Okay, so what is it about June 3rd, which is a Friday? I mean, is it like the last day of the week, Mercury clocks out, it's like, all right, I'm done retrograding. What is it about June 3rd that dictates the retrograde of Mercury? And you know what? Oh. All right. I think we finally got the link working. And go ahead and connect your audio for me, ma'am. You can't hear me. But yeah, that has always fascinated me because it's like, as I'm wondering like how, I hate to say it, but how does it work? You know what I'm saying? I would love for you to jump on the Zoom call and have that conversation with me. I have Cheryl trying to log in. So give me 1 second. I appreciate y'all bearing with me too, man, while we deal with this stuff. Like I said, every week I am adding something new, something different, because I want to elevate the conversations that we have. There are a lot of people that are, in these spaces that talk about relationships in different ways. RIP Kevin Samuels, and there are a couple other dating coaches, a couple other relationship coaches, et cetera, both men and women, both red pill, blue pill, purple pill, all of that good stuff. I know that this is I don't want to say a crowded space, but there are a lot of voices that are adding to our relationship talk, and I just know that in being a part of these conversations, I think it helps us, especially the Black community, but just, our community and just as a whole, to be better. Because if we know how to communicate with each other, if we know how to, just do better in relationships, but do better with ourselves, then it's going to help everybody all together. Cheryl, can you hear me? Oh, okay. I heard something. There you go. All right. So I take it that you do not want to start your camera. That's fine by me. You said not today? You say I am not showing
not
the camera.
Not today. My
the
wig is getting split.
Yo,
you don't want to see this wig today.
Yay. Well, you know what? I gave up on my wig. I'm like, I'm done. So I feel your pain. All right. Tonight's conversation is Gemini season. But as we always do, we talk about relationships in general. What do you have to say, ma'am?
So just to make a comment on when you brought up, the challenges. Personally, I don't view negatives as challenges. I view them as things that you can overcome. So if, for example, I'm a Leo, and if people say I'm this,
oh God, help us.
Certain stereotypes that go with Leo, that doesn't necessarily make it me. I feel like I'm individual, even though I may have started out, like that. But if I can recognize something about me that's not good, I have that opportunity to change that.
Right.
It's when you recognize that is an issue. That part is an issue. So that's where I was more so going with, when you have challenges in life, those are things you can absolutely overcome. Now, if you're with somebody and you see that they're having challenges, yeah, of course you can help them through it. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to make that change. And if they don't make the change, then, you can stay there and deal with it, or you can walk away,
For sure.
one or the other.
Yep, which is kind of what Pure Bliss was talking about earlier when she was like,
Mhm.
and also know thyself as far as just talking about Mercury being in retrograde is it is a period of introspection and or where you are introspective and you look at what it is that you have, what it is that you want, what it is that you're bringing to the proverbial table, I think. And like you said, if you know that, okay, this is the situation I'm in or the person I'm with is not bringing me what I want and they're presenting more challenges than I care to deal with, you're 100% right. Yeah, it's time to either suck it up and deal with it or get the hell on.
Mhm. You're right. I mean, a lot of people, that becomes the issue, is that they don't recognize that, or they choose to ignore that. So
Right.
they keep doing the same thing over and over, either knowing they're doing it wrong or just saying they don't care. I'll just deal with somebody that, they don't care either, So
Which kind of brings up what she said earlier too, right? When she talked about healed Geminis, yeah, because
yeah,
it's like if you keep doing the same shit over and over again, what do they call that?
that's
What's
the
the word?
definition of insanity.
Insanity. So if you know that you are doing the same shit over and over again, and you keep attracting the same kind of damn people, but then it's like I hear people, women especially, say, I know all these sorry ass men. Well, ma'am, you must have a sorry ass magnet that you're walking around and carrying around, because if you keep attracting the same type dudes, then you must be using the same kind of bait. You know what I'm saying? And it's same thing with dudes. It's like, man, these women ain't shit, bruh. Well, yeah, you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? Your bait
Yep.
is your bait. So you can't, if you haven't healed yourself, then you cannot expect to get somebody who has done the work, who has healed himself, to come to to regress back to the nonsense, to the dysfunction that you're bringing. If not, that's what they call it. What's that word again?
Insanity.
Thank you. All day, all
I think
freaking day.
I mean, and my last comment, but I think a lot of us, myself included, have issues with being vulnerable. And being vulnerable means letting someone see the real you.
Oh
Letting someone
shit.
see, and we always cloud that with our representative, or, our walls up, or whatever it is, because we want to make ourselves think that there's nothing wrong with us, that we're perfect. But in reality, that's just not the case. So, working on allowing ourselves to be more vulnerable, to understand ourselves through others, because that's how
Mm-hmm.
we learn who we are, is through the people that we interact with.
Let me ask you a question. And I know you said it's your last comment, but I
Sure.
like what you cooking up in here. It's
Oh,
almost
okay.
it's almost like you're a chef. Anyway, what
Mm.
what? Give me two things, three things that you think would make you more, that would prevent you from being vulnerable. What is it that if somebody did X, you would be more vulnerable with them? What is preventing you? Would prevent you from
um,
being vulnerable?
Taking the time to listen. I mean, something as simple as just listening. Most people don't listen because they're not really wanting to listen to you, to exactly what you're saying. It's
Okay.
more like glazing over it. They're not really invested in what you have to say. you
Hmm.
know um Remembering small things, things people do, the same things. How many things do we do every day that are the exact same thing? But if I picked up one of those things, like I made your coffee, or I made sure to lay this out for you, or, it allows you to be more comfortable with that person, which in return will be able to start letting that guard down.
Mm-hmm.
you
Okay.
know and genuinely being interested in what the your partner's interested in, genuinely being interested in what they're interested in, not because you enjoy doing it, because you are interested in them. No one really gives a shit about what anybody else is doing. They just want to do whatever they want to do, because that's more important. But if we were actually interested in what our partner or the person that we're getting to know, if what they were interested in, that shows genuine interest, that can allow someone to be more vulnerable, in my opinion.
fascinating. The reason why I kind of wanted to dig into that, and I appreciate you jumping on. Thank you so much for joining the
Thank you.
conversation, ma'am. And thank you for for just being here on the show and supporting me. I do
My
appreciate that.
pleasure, Chris. We're long time. We're long time.
No doubt. Thank you, thank you. But it's I do have a show coming up, and we're going to be talking about being vulnerable. I'm not sure when we're going to particularly have that conversation, but I definitely do because even though we live in an era of total damn near interconnectivity where everybody is in some shape, manner, or form connected to another person. I think it used to be 6 degrees of separation. Now it's damn near five. It's like, in some way, shape, manner, or form, you're friends with somebody who's, following somebody on Instagram who's, it's like we're all connected. And it's like, even though the more connected we are, the less vulnerable we are, the less where we have the less we want to open up. So it's really fascinating to me, to know that. And just hearing her talking about vulnerability, I wholeheartedly agree with her on that one. Let's go back into it a little bit. So back on on dealing with Geminis, but also just in astrology in general. Know Thyself says all planets go into retrograde. However, most people focus on Mercury because it usually disrupts their daily life. Got you. So, okay. So it's more parlance than anything else. That makes sense. That makes 100%. Okay, cool. Melanie Marie says she 100% agrees with her. And she also said, my husband does the same thing. He goes out of his way to tune into me. Makes me appreciate him more. She made some good points to make you think about your own actions. Y'all, one of the things that really resonated with me that Pure said and Cheryl just backed up as well was where she was talking about you have to be introspective, and that's something that obviously you cannot go without doing in a relationship. And Melanie's kind of touching on it right here as well. You have to be able to tune into your partner. And a lot of times, there are disconnects. There are times where it is difficult to do that. And I'm speaking from my own relationships, past and present, where you have to be intentional. You have to tune in, and like Melanie's saying here, you go. Her husband in particular is going out of his way to tune into her, and like Cheryl said, being a part of what you're, being in tune with what your partners is into, not because you give a shit about what they are doing or not, but just because you care about them. That is some pretty good stuff, man. And you're right, it really does make you stop and think about your actions. I wholeheartedly agree. Let's see, we are coming up on an hour. Y'all, let me make sure I went over a few things. I always have my notes because when I start prepping for my shows, Lord knows I'm like driving down the highway, I'm like, I need to talk about this. So I always want to make sure I don't miss anything because it never fails. After I end the show, it's like, shit, I forgot to say XYZ. So I think I've got everything here. I think we have touched on everything for tonight. Well, y'all, this has been another fun show. I mean, I really appreciate y'all. Let me hold on one second. Well, I just had a Gemini. She's like, I'm a whole ass Gemini. Yeah, both faces. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. It's one of those things, y'all, where again, just as in as we're talking about this, we're gonna have a lot of these conversations. Some are gonna be tough, some are not, but I really enjoy these conversations because just like Know Thyself said in the chat, it's important to know because you are every sign. I mean, But also, like Lorenzo said, if you're getting into a relationship or if you are already in a relationship, if you know about the person that you're with, right? But also know about yourself and know about how each sign connects with the other, because it's like, you know, if I can find it right here, it's like it's if you know that the polarities, for instance, as we're talking about these signs, if you, what the hell just happened on my camera? That's interesting. Uh-oh. Wow. Don't know what just happened with my camera right there. But anyway, it's kind of acting up. I think my camera just locked up on me. Anyway, so it's one of those things where if you know that you are, you know, the opposite of each and every sign, then that definitely does affect how you interact with that person. So with that, I think my technology is trying to tell me, yo, Chris, it is time to wrap this show up. Y'all, I definitely 100% appreciate all y'all joining in this conversation. But before we get into it, I want to make sure that y'all know exactly what we're going to be talking about next week. Because next week's conversation, we are going to be talking about backtracking. Y'all know I am not a fan of backtracking at all. I'm a big believer, like, yo, when it's over, it's over. Because like Cheryl said, it's like, hey, if you know that you can't deal with the challenges, then, yo, it's time to move on. So next week, we're going to be talking about backtracking. Some of y'all believe that, hey, it's okay to revisit relationships. And other people like, nope, it's a done deal. I talked to a friend of mine this past weekend, and she was, you know, as we were talking, she was telling me that, you know, anyway, we're going to talk about backtracking. Hopefully, I'm not a big fan of it, but as always, y'all, I definitely 100% appreciate y'all joining the conversation. And as always, y'all have a good one. I will see y'all next week. Stay determined.